Okay, we're recording. How's everybody doing this fine and wonderful New Year's Eve? I am working on old sewing machines. Um, I got back into sewing a little bit there in this bad weather. I like to do these scrap quilts with scrap fabric. That right there. That's just a block I did. I've done several quilts and stuff. And I want to make a wool quilt. I bought a bunch of wool. And get that sewed up and make a Johnson wool quilt. And I make bags and stuff. And anyway, I do enjoy the repair and restoration of older sewing machines. I don't get into it to the point a lot of people do. This is a Singer 1591. In my opinion, and probably others, they're a real classic. They're a beast. If this thing won't sew it, you need a big industrial. These will sew industrial stuff. You can sew light leather. You get the right needles, you can sew leather, no problem at all. You gotta use better thread and correct needles. I'm not going to get into all that. But you can buy I paid from $15 for these Singer 1591s up to about 75. I never go over that. You see them. There's people asking 3, 4, 500 for them. You watch Craigslist, you watch Facebook Marketplace, you will find these. And 1591, I've got one here on the floor I'm working on, is a potted motor. They don't have a belt. They're like a direct drive. And if you ever go out and you buy one, the one thing you want to check before you run it is where the wires back here, right here, see my finger, that's the plug to the outlet. And then this little thing is held on with one screw. You want to take that off and you want to check this wire. It runs up to the motor where it hooks on. And I have one right here that came off that machine that I've got to do some repair work on. I'm hoping you can see the damage right there. And, you know, you're just asking for troubles. You're going to blow everybody says you're going to light the machine up. Well, if you light the machine up, you need to call an electrician and get your circuit breakers in your house straightened out, because it should just pop a breaker. It's no different than crossing an outlet. You know, take a pair of scissors, drive them in an outlet. It really doesn't light you up that bad. You know, they always go ying, 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 like it really fry you. Well, I'm not an electrician. I don't pretend to be, but trust me, if your house is wired correctly, you're going to pop a fuse. Well, you want to check that. And if those wires are, you can see the coatings all broke off. That was actually broke down there further. Now you can go all the way into here, take this off, and replace them. And there are so many videos on that, it's not funny. But if you get into this, and you carefully cut this apart a ways, and the wire's good right here. Well, one thing we have today that we didn't have, let me get over in this toolbox, I think I threw it in here, is toilet paper. Yeah, we bought that during COVID. I wouldn't dare flush that stuff in the septic system, but it works great like a paper towel. It's really heavy stuff. Is heat shrink. This is wonderful stuff. You put it on, and you heat it with a torch, cigarette lighter, heat gun, and it shrinks. Well, this one here, I'm going to set up here on the bench. Excuse me for being blurry for a minute. This one here was similar to that. Not quite as bad. I don't know how bad those will go. And what I did, I cut back to here on the casing. And the wire was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. I wish I would have showed it. Well, if you take the heat shrink and you slide it over the connection, you're basically putting a brand new coating on your wire. And I've had very good luck doing it. I've had no issues whatsoever. It's a lot easier. It's not an easy project. to go inside the motor. It's a little more, there's videos on it, it's not undoable, but it's a lot more work. Kind of expensive to hire somebody. And this works just fine. I've had no problems with that at all. And you could, if you had to, if it's bad, you could always solder in a new piece of wire and put some new ends on it. But the way they screw into this housing right here, that's the plug inside, excuse me, you're kind of committed to those little connectors. I would take this off because that's got to come off because this has got to be done. See, that's 2 and 3, your machine goes on. And then it's 1, and never mind, you'll know. I'm not going to get into that with you. You'll know. Because I would hate to mislead somebody. But this is where you're putting it in a cabinet. You'd use this. If not, you just leave it like this, and then you plug your controller in. If you've got one of these, you just plug your controller in. You use the foot controller, which works fine. See, this one has the foot controller down there. And some of them have a knee bar if you get a cabinet. A lot of old Singers had knee bars. They're handy. Anyway, that's all I was showing, was an easy way to fix this. Y'all have a great New Year. It is New Year's Eve. I don't know if I'll post this tonight or sometime tomorrow or later, but Happy New Year to everyone. Come on. One-handed is not fun to work with. There it is. You see what that looks like? It's got the little brass washer that goes on each side. I don't know where that one is. Anyway, that's where we are. I don't know if I'm going to have to, how much of that wire will have to be replaced on that one or not, but it was bad. So I said, well, I'll make a video on that. It might be interesting. And these are, just these 1591s are just a fabulous machine. They run and run and run. That machine right there, I'd have to look to be sure. That machine's older than me, and I'm pretty near 70. I bet that machine's 80, 85 years old. Never done anything to it. Everything's original. That one there, the wiring was fine, and the wiring was perfect. I guess it's just age, maybe moisture that does that. I don't know. But anyway, that works well. Hope you enjoyed this. Y'all have a great New Year. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later.